Comic fam, slap that like and subscribe. We're getting this type of comic book themed content. Comic Book 101. Sammy from Skeleton Key. All right. The convention scene is opening back up. We got Emerald City in a week. C2E2 is like a week later. I'm not going to make it, but had this been next year, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at all these cons. I miss the con floor. I miss the community. What are some of the funnest things for you at the convention to experience, Sammy?
Oh, the number one fave is the community.
Hands down.
Honestly, it's the community. I can buy comics online. I can buy comics at my LCS. Yeah, I can get them at a con too. But the thing I don't get anywhere else is seeing the comic community. That's my absolute, hands down, top 1 through 5. That's my favorite.
The comic fam. You don't even need to have met these individuals in person before. When you see them on the floor and you remember them from IG, from YouTube, you know, just however our paths cross, you look at each other and you just know this is a homie. And it's gonna be a good time. Aside from that, though, we also have a lot of comic books that you can look through. I mean, these are comic book conventions, damn it. Even though they're feeling less and less like that. You know, now that we've been on hiatus and haven't gone to one in so long, I don't even care. If there's even one long box, I'm gonna be happy, you know? But the convention scene, there's a lot of members who haven't been to a con, especially because of how long it's been, and members who may be looking for, like, making sure that this experience they have is the absolute best it can be, because it's maybe the only con they go to. You know, they may be picking and choosing. And I wanted to hit the mic and have you, Sammy, as well as me, bring some tips and tricks, in particular, things that we bring to conventions every time. I think you told me for the idea of this, Sammy, it was like, if I don't have these things, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be frustrated with myself. It's like if you leave your phone, you know? So why don't you tell the comic fam some things that you can't leave the house without when you go to a comic book convention?
All right, so I wanted to show you guys my essentials because I actually get asked this a lot about what I take to conventions. So it starts out with the perfect backpack. Get a backpack you love, all right? And so I get my comic holders to put my finds in, especially the ones that are like super high grade or a little more pricier. I always like to put in a comic book portfolio. Then the backpack that I have has this. It's a laptop holder, but I call it a slab holder. I can fit like 3 slabs in this pouch, and it's padded. The next thing I love to take is my gloves. The reason I take gloves is because a lot of booths will allow you, once they peel the tape, they'll allow you to look at the books that you want. And I always, I feel like it's really respectful to put on a pair of gloves, and I always get thanked for it. So I always take a pair of gloves for handling the books. And on the note of handling the books, now, trust me, I have never had anyone, a shop owner, say that they were offended by the fact that I always take a black light to the con, because like this is a very easy and quick way to see any type of residue on a comic book is by shining a black light over the cover real quick. It's not weird at all. And I always say, hey, I'm just gonna like put my gloves on, like shine a little light on it, and they're like, yeah, do whatever you want. Let me know if you want to buy it.
That is awesome. I love that tip of the black light. You know, I need to get myself one of those tiny ones. I have it's like the size of a flashlight that I use here at home, but that tiny one is like a keychain one. Comic fam, you're getting some great tips here from Sammy. I love this.
I get all this stuff right off Amazon, like super cheap.
Okay, hey, do me a favor. You mentioned a portfolio. I think you mean the comic book Storefolios. Can you show that again and explain what that is?
Absolutely. So this is my comic book portfolio, and I like to put my more expensive stuff in here. I can fit 2 of these in my backpack, and I like to take them with me, like I said, to hold those like higher end books, but they hold not magazine size. They do have a magazine size one, but they hold regular size issues, raw issues.
Fantastic. Okay, so comic fam, some tips and tricks for me. I can't not go to a convention without some of these things. Now, it's always nice if you are able to befriend someone who's actually a seller, exhibitor at the particular convention you attend, because then you have a spot to store your stuff. That's a little tip. If you know somebody there, they may have a little room under their booth. I'm sure there's dealers going, oh no, don't say that, Tom. All of our friends are going to start asking now, but it's the truth. This is what you're here for, Comic Fam. Got to give you those tips and tricks. But this first tip changed my life at a convention. What you're looking at here is a Magna Cart by Welcome Productions. These go for about $40 on Amazon. And what this is, it's a folding cart, Comic Fam. And what I'm talking about here for our audio listeners is something that is easily transportable. It can fold up into itself. It has wheels on it. And this is going to be something that's more for lightweight. You know, you're not looking to move a mattress on this thing. It's metal, but it's also got plastic as well. And what this is going to do, it's going to allow you to put one, if not two short boxes. And if you have some like bungee cable, you can wrap it around that. And this right here solves the problem of storing your comic books. What you don't want to have happen is you find books, find a collection. All of a sudden, you didn't anticipate getting 50 comics, but then you know what? You found the run. You found a lot of great books. Maybe a dealer's doing a deal. Buy so many, get so many free. And all of a sudden, your backpack is bulging, and the entire convention, you're thinking, I want to go back to the hotel room and drop these off. Also, you're thinking, these are getting damaged every step I take. Every breath you take, you're damaging the comic books. So that's my first tip for the Comic Fam is grab yourself a lightweight cart with wheels. Again, for our audio listeners, you can look this up. Magna Cart on Amazon. They're like $40. Get it to you really quick. It's going to save you a lot of trouble.
And Tom, I want to share with you too, because I actually grabbed my cart with the bungee cables. It pops out too. You just step on it and it like folds open. I absolutely love this thing. Also got it on Amazon, and I'll show you my short box I travel around with. One tip I want to share with you guys, DIY carry-on. You can get the cart, either the one like Tom just showed you, or this one right on Amazon. Put your short box on it, and it works as a carry-on on the plane if you're traveling to cons.
Ooh. Great tip. Didn't even think about that. What a great life hack. Protect your books. Okay, a couple other tips on my end that I want to provide. Sharpies. If you're going to go to a convention and get things signed, there's two items that I recommend you have in your backpack. Because I also recommend a backpack, but Sammy already said that one, so I got to do some new ones. The first one is this. This right here is CGC's Signature Series bags. They actually sent us a bunch of these at one point. What's cool about these, you do have to purchase them, right? But if you're looking to have something signed by a creator, the last thing you want to experience is fumbling around your collectible, one that's worth signing, typically worth money, and then pulling it out of the bag, just fumbling it around. What if you have more than one thing? It's no fun to do that, especially if you just waited in line for a larger creator like Todd McFarlane, who you're only going to have like 5 seconds to stand in front of. Their helpers will get involved. Like, you don't want to risk someone else touching your comic book. So what this is a fold out plastic sheet. You store your comic book with a board without a bag in here. And what's going to end up happening is this page is going to hold the comic book on the inside with the board, and it's going to keep the front of the comic book open and vulnerable to the elements, which would be a problem had there not be a fold out here that you then wrap around to protect the front. And what ends up happening, Comic Fam, for our audio listeners, is that you have a fully wrapped comic that if you open the page, now the artist, the writer who's going to sign it, they have easy access to the cover. You're not having to take it out. You're not having to remove it from a bag. If you have tape on your bag because you ran out of resealable bags because there's a plastic shortage, national paper shortage, what's going on? Well, you don't have to worry about that, tape removal where you can then rub the comic book and mess up the book all at once. It's a beautiful thing when it happens, because it's terrible and it's like a miraculous thing that takes place. It's not beautiful. It's actually very ugly, and I wish it on no one, not even my greatest enemy, Sammy. But the last thing that I have to point out is Sharpies. If you're going to get things signed by creators, do yourself a solid favor. Go shopping. Get some alternative colored Sharpies. And what you can do is supply yourself with red, with silver, with gold. Look at other creators and how they sign their comic books. And when you see one that's nice, a signature that pops on a cover, use that as inspiration on what you should try to get yourself, because Sharpies only have a lifespan of so many signatures. I don't know that, but any artist or writer who signs at a convention, they'll be able to tell you, oh, it's only 500 I can get out of it. Even though most people can get 1,000, uses out of it, they want their signature to look great every time. So they're going through a ton of Sharpies. So it's rare for them to have an assortment of Sharpies. Most of the time it's just black. And that's cool, but if you got a black cover, you can't see the signature. What are you doing? Why are you even waiting in line? So do yourself a favor, get different colored Sharpies, and I'll do you one extra step. Bring some hand sanitizer or some wet wipes, like sanitizing wipes, because if you're gonna hand a pen to the creator, maybe you give it a quick spray, wipe it down, hand it to them. They'll appreciate it, especially in the environment that we're in. Sammy, any last tips?
No, I absolutely love that you said the hand sanitizer thing, because that is super important. And it's such a part of everyday life now that I wouldn't have thought to bring it up.
I know, right? But we got to. I know. The last convention, I'm going to leave you here, Comic Fam, with this. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Make sure if you're listening to this on the audio, go to the YouTube channel, comment on the YouTube channel, because that's how we source the giveaway winners. I have a Joker #1. Let me show it to the Comic Fam. Raph Grissetti variant. Going to one lucky person who comments, lets me know. I'll get you a better copy. This one just bent in my hand. It's a damaged book. No worries. When I attended the last convention, it was C2E2. I did coverage for CGC. This is now 2 years ago. It's literally been that long since I've gone to a convention. It was at that con that we heard about the first cases of the sickness that has stopped the world. It happened while we were on the con floor. I'm talking to Jeff going, oh my gosh, cases showed up in this nearby cities that we live in. So that entire convention, I remember, shout out Brittany, she hooked me up over at CGC with a bottle of hand sanitizer. And what you would have found if you found me on the con floor is in my back pocket, I literally had a bottle of hand sanitizer that you would typically have on the table, just in my back pocket. And throughout the entire con, whenever I saw Comic Fam members, I met up with Jeff or shout out Nate Johnson. They'd be like, oh, let me get some sanitizer. And they go, I turn around and they'd be like, squirt, squirt, squirt. And they do the hand sanitizer. It started literally at the last con. Everybody was just holding on to it. So you don't want to be a person looking for Tom to turn around to get the hand sanitizer from his back of his pants. That's what I'm saying, Comic Fam. Bring your own hand sanitizer.
Starting the auction off at $1 for 1 minute, like we always do.
This is one of our favorite covers, and you got it.
A little bit of that, what y'all been looking for, right? A little bit of that, what y'all been looking for, right?